Hi everyone, this is Mr. Ala, grade 6 English class. Unit 4, reading from page 234 to page 246. I hope everyone is safe and sound. Please eat healthy food, stay home as possible, exercise, be safe. I hope everyone is safe and sound. To start with, as always, we start with the vocabulary. So here we have the vocabulary with what? With any examples. For example, alignment. Alignment, you will find here the word with the definitions. Alignment is what the state of being aligned or sit in a proper position. Calamity. Calamity means like disaster, serious problem. If you see, like, for example, here alignment, please look at the picture, look at the vocabulary and picture, then read the captions of the definitions. Calamity, you'll find a disaster causing great damage. So, we know that it's a damage, it's a disaster. As you look at the picture here, you will see that there's flood. So the flood is a natural disaster. So please try to memorize the word with the definitions and the picture at the same time. So, for example, calamity, as we said, like a disaster causing great damage, pain, sorrow, or suffering, catastrophe. As you finish with the memorizing the word with the definitions, then go and answer the questions. These are multiple choice questions. Okay, here true, false. Something that causes a lack of comfort or ease, something that causes trouble. Is it alignment? If it is true, click true. If it's false, click false. As you finish with these, then match. This we have matching. Match the words with their definitions. Generated. Which one is the correct? For example, we said before we took what alignment and calamity. Alignment. See, this is the answer for alignment. And we have what calamity. We said this is picture. See, I memorized it with the pictures before I see what the definitions. Thank you. That's to start with, as we said, the vocabulary. So please study the vocabulary, then do the exercise, the multiple choices and questions, and the questions, true false questions. So these are supposed to be dictations also. You'll find these sentences in your weekly plan. So please try to practice dictations. As you finish with this one, try to do this exercise because there is a quiz inshallah for this one. It will be online. It would be inshallah, it would be online inshallah. So I will provide you with the correct answers for these questions. Which word has almost the same meaning as word calamity? Here they're asking for synonyms. So which one of these means calamity, which is a disaster? Alignment. What does the word alignment mean? What does the word alignment mean? A tight bond, the best solution, the proper adjustment, an imbalanced combination. So it's going to be proper adjustment, the proper adjustment. The same thing goes for the rest. You have A, B, C, D for each one of these questions. Please, those questions I've sent it via the group, so you can check the groups, school groups, and print them out and try and start practicing, because the quiz will be inshallah at the end of this week, and I'll make sure that I provide you with the correct answers. Now let's go back to the reading. Here, as we see what we see the genre. This is, please, when there's reading, start to look at the picture. This is called picture, and this is called caption. Pictures and captions help you to understand. Before you read, what is the genre? Oh, what does the word genre mean? Yes, that's right. Genre, it means type of a story, Question 2. What does expository text mean? Think about it. That's right. Expository and expository texts may provide facts about people and events in the past. They'll tell you a story from the past, but it's true facts. You know, they provide you with facts. Usually, you'll find these, the expository texts, you can find them in magazines, sometimes in articles which they take from books, scientific books. And here say, so what is an expository text? An expository text may provide facts about people and events in the past. Number 2, may draw upon evidence from primary sources. So they write this and this text, and they provide you with what? With information, evidence, facts. Now, let's start.
Genre, expository text. The day the dam broke.
You see what happened? When the dam broke, what happened? So flood, a lot of water. How much?
Essential question.
They said essential questions means important questions. It was very important to answer this question. How do people meet environmental challenges? When there is a natural disaster, what do people do? How do they respond to such problem? Can you answer this? Think about it, please. That's right. But to answer such question, we will read this reading, the expository text, then we'll come to answer these questions. Please listen.
How do people meet environmental challenges? Read how one of the greatest natural disasters of the 1800s hit a Pennsylvania town. Down in the valley. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, lies in a beautiful valley in the Appalachian Mountains. 2 rivers flank the town, so in the early 1800s, people began using the water power to run grist mills for grinding flour. By 1834, Johnstown had become a key junction on the Pennsylvania Canal system. Many new businesses were generated. The new prosperity was enough to offset any hardships caused by periodic flooding when the rivers swelled with snow melt and heavy spring rains. For Johnstown's residents, moving to higher ground until the water receded was an inconvenience they could tolerate. The stage is set. To supply water to the canal system during dry seasons, the state built a rock and earth dam 14 miles upstream from Johnstown on the Conemaugh River. At the dam's base, a drain fed water into the canal, but excess water from the lake behind the dam could also run off a spillway. In 1852, both canal and dam were abandoned when the Pennsylvania Railroad completed a line between Johnstown and Pittsburgh. In 1875, a man named Benjamin Ruff bought the property around the lake to build an exclusive resort called the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club. Ruff repaired the dam and stocked the lake with fish, but valves and pipes previously laid in careful alignment to control the water flow were removed, and the drain beneath the dam was filled in. The dam's lip was lowered by 2 feet when the road on top was widened, and the spillway was screened in from a bridge above to keep fish from escaping. Unknowingly, Ruff had set the stage for disaster. A tremendous roar. On May 30th, 1889, the worst storm ever recorded in Johnstown's history hit the area. Nearly 10 inches of rain fell in just 24 hours. The next morning, the rivers around Johnstown swelled into roaring torrents. As they had so many times before, residents moved to higher ground to wait out the flood. Upriver, South Fork Club members feared the dam would fail if the lake rose any higher. Workers frantically tried to strengthen the dam. Men were sent to Johnstown to warn people. But the townspeople had heard too many such alarms over the years, and they ignored the warnings. Just after 3 p.m., the dam collapsed. Club members watched in horror as a 40-foot wave, about 2 million tons of water a half-mile wide, crashed down the river valley. Within minutes, the flood devoured 4 small towns. In less than an hour, it roared into Johnstown. Most people saw nothing. They heard only a thunderous rumble. But then the water was upon them. Those not instantly killed were swept away by the angry surge. A jumbled mass of water, houses, trees, train cars, animals, and people smashed into the stone arches of the railroad bridge downriver. Anyone still alive at that point met with prolonged torment when the debris caught fire. Many more died. That evening, a telegraph message arrived in Pittsburgh from Robert Pitcairn, railroad superintendent and a member of the South Fork Club. It said simply, "Johnstown is annihilated." After the flood, response was swift as news spread. People around the world sent money, food, and clothing. The recently created Red Cross arrived to help survivors. Down but not defeated, the people of Johnstown showed great tenacity. They set up tents and began to rebuild. The 1889 flood is among the worst disasters in American history. Many blamed the South Fork Club for causing the calamity with its mishandling of the dam. The people of Johnstown sued. But the primary sources. Sources of information are considered primary if they come from people living at the time of the event described. Examples include letters, eyewitness accounts, photographs, newspaper articles, and government documents. There are many first-hand accounts by survivors of the 1889 Johnstown flood. Gertrude Quinn Slattery, for example, was only 6 years old at the time, but she later recalled being swept away on a raft with a muddy mattress and bedding. Like others, she remembered holding on for dear life. Thankfully, she lived to tell her story. Johnstown after the 1936 flood. Courts ruled the flood an accident and awarded no money. Some club members contributed to relief efforts. Andrew Carnegie donated $10,000 and rebuilt the town's library. Other members remained silent. When another flood hit Johnstown in 1936, the federal government paid to have the rivers rerouted. Johnstown residents rebuilt once again, believing there would be no more floods. But on July 20th, 1977, nearly 12 inches of rain fell in 10 hours. 6 dams burst, pouring 128 million gallons of water into Johnstown. This time, many people moved, and businesses closed for good. Like an eclipse darkening the sky, the 1977 flood dimmed Johnstown's future. Today, key activities help reduce the danger to Johnstown. The National Weather Service sponsors a Flood Watchers program, and studies are done to identify weaknesses in the flood protection systems. But there is also an emergency plan, just in case the waters overrun Johnstown again. Facts. Make connections. How did the people of Johnstown respond to the challenges of flooding? Talk about a disaster you have heard or read about. Tell how people responded to the challenges they faced from the environment.